webcam is not that great at night, yo. What's up, everyone? How you doing? Yeah, it's just a simple webcam from my laptop, you know. I never had the need to actually get something else. But when it's darker, it's not as great. I do have lightning here, but it works. I mean, you can see me. I can see you, kind of, right? So it will work. Let me pop out the chat. So this stream will be less organized than what I usually do. You know, we're going through all of the different scenarios. It's going to be more chill. It's late here. It's 10:30 p.m. I had dinner with the wifey, watched an episode of Dexter, and right at the end of the episode, I had a look at the chart. Because I knew we were at resistance earlier, right? So we hit resistance nicely. And I was just curious to see if anything happened. Saw price moving down and I was like, well, you know, looks like a nice time to get online and observe what price has been doing. As this structure to the upside can be counted as a three-wave structure. Or a W like three-wave as in ABC, but also potential WXY, ending with a high amount of volume at the end, which is quite interesting. It's still lower than the push here though, so alternatively this is a wave 4. But we're gonna check it, because then this has to be a 3. And then we need a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but there's overlap. So yeah, it looks a bit better as a 3-waver. But yeah, welcome Peter. Thanks for your message. Roberta, how you doing? Good to have you here. Mark, good evening. Same lady, welcome. Hira, good to have you here. Jen, what's up? Doing very well. Yeah, enjoying myself, having a good day. Keeping an eye on the chart, right? So my chart is shared, by the way, and everyone that has the chart open will have seen the two levels in the resistance box here. 69.3, 69.6. Daily has been hit, which is the first area of resistance. Daily naked point of control just above. Now with the move to the downside, we can at least check some local stuff. But I do think that before I talk about this piece of price action and what it means if price would now move up and hit the 618, and how this structure has been developing, I think context is at least important. So I do want to start on the 1 hour, do a short repeat of what we are looking for in the range and how probabilities change, and then take it from there, right? So I will turn this off. Now, if you weren't there, earlier today, we've done a live stream where in the beginning of the live stream, I analyzed the range up till 56K, right? So just a short summary so that you're up to date. We were analyzing this piece of the chart, trying to figure out if this is the low, what's the structure, right? Now, the only way to end the low here, or to have a low here and continue impulsively, is with a WXY, at least highest probability. Double zigzag, not high probabilities because of the 0.7. Zigzag structures don't work nicely. This being a 5-wave structure, low probability due to wave 4. Right? Double zigzag isn't relevant here because of the 0.7. Triple zigzag, absolutely irrelevant. Expanding flat, not relevant. We didn't move above A. This is just a summary, right? I went into detail in the previous stream. Regular flat A, B, and then a wave C doesn't work because of wave 4. Same problem as a zigzag. Running flat, not relevant. Took the low of A. Triangle doesn't work in this section over here. And then we have the WXYs, which is pretty much the only way you can end something here, where wave Y is a zigzag. Your wave X is also a zigzag family structure, and your W is a flat. The issue is that your wave X and your wave Y are very, very short in time, which isn't great probability. So alternatively, right, you have the two bearish scenarios, which I sometimes talk about, which is either you have a leading diagonal here and this is your 5, 3-wave move up, continuation down, or you have the W, X, and then a wave Y, which is the other bearish scenario, looking for price to move to the downside. Now, I do like to have some more local proof of structure, resistance, support, because at the moment, locally, there's lots of bullish CVDs all the time, and I don't really like to have scenarios or really dedicate a lot of probabilities to scenarios that go fully against those bullish CVD divergences. So I'm very much keeping an eye on the local price action here. Is it possible to end at 56K? Yes. However, the bearish scenarios are as possible, right? So with the zigzag or the WXY. So meaning I like to keep an eye on what's happening in this range. And as this range is continuing, hopefully breaking out tomorrow. Oh, 1 second here, clear this, go to United States and then save. Impact on 3. We have some news tomorrow, 2:30 here, Friday, May 31st. So I hope we find a direction. Oh, we'll gotta wait. Can you show how you detect the daily naked point of control? Yeah, I use ATAS, but I can show it on ATAS in a little bit. So in this range, with especially this move to the downside here, there's especially 3 scenarios to keep an eye on at the moment, right? Let me first run through all of them and then go the probabilities direction, right? So your most bullish scenario, of course, is the low of your wave 2 is in. So you have your wave 1, your 2, you look for price to move to the upside, right? Price retracing to the 618786. Yeah, it's a perfectly fine target for 2, and that's it. What I don't really like, and this is something I didn't mention in the video because of time as well, right? I do want to have short and sweet, concise videos, and the live streams I can go a bit more in depth. But what is not ideal for your wave 2 here is that on my chart, we have a higher low. Now, on some other charts, you took this low. On my chart here, we have an 886 touch, which generally would reduce probabilities for a wave 2, if this is a 1-2 continuation. Now, alternatively, and that's actually what I would prefer to do, is to put wave 2 here, accept the fact that other charts have taken this low and use this low as the low of a wave C of a bigger flat A, B, C. So then you have a wave 1, 2, and then eventually you have your move to the downside, 3, 4, 5, creating a flat structure to end your wave C, and then look for price to move up. Now, if this is the low of your wave 2 and you look for continuation to the upside, naturally, we want to see impulsive structures from the low to the upside. And there's only 3 impulsive structures that you need to keep in mind, right? You have the impulse, 1, 2, and you have the diagonals, no? Maybe a bend. Wait, before I continue. Yo, maybe a band-aid. It's your birthday. Wait, and congratulations. I didn't know. But wait. I still got your cap here, yo. Present is coming. I already wrote the card. I already put the card in the envelope and closed it and everything. But at least I got you a present coming, I suppose. But yo, congratulations, maybe a band-aid. Adding 25 years. Well, 37. It's a nice age. It's a nice age. Congrats, man. Just a bit older than I am. Just a little bit older. We're both in the 30s in that regard. But yo, congratulations, man. Nice. Where you live? Wait, yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, okay. So it was previous live stream. You had your birthday already. Okay, I didn't know. Congrats, eh? So yeah, locally, if this is your low, you want to look for impulsive structures. And as price was moving to the upside here, things looked okay. You know, you're moving to the upside. You have some volume coming in as well. But now with the move to the downside, let's observe. If we look for an impulse, we want to see a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we don't want to see overlap between a wave 1 and a wave 4, as that would invalidate an impulse. So let's go to the 5-minute time frame. It's not really a time frame I generally enjoy. But if we want to count this as an impulse, we need a 5-wave structure. Now the latest range before the final push up is very much here. So in other words, this has to be your wave 4. Also, we can't end wave 4 here. We need to end it somewhere here, because this has to be your final impulse in 5. The reason for this is that if you end wave 4 here, and this is a wave 1, 2, where's your wave 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We wanted one more high. This is also what I communicated in silver. I was like, well, if we want to count this impulsively, then preferably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But doesn't work. So, because we moved down, invalidating a wave 4. So in other words, this has to be the end of your wave 4, which therefore means either a WXY or a triangle of some sort on the lower time frames. But by all means, this is your wave 4, which means that we need 3 waves before this. Now this then has to be your wave 3, highest amount of volume inside your wave 3 here, no? That's the most common, wave 3, highest amount of volume. So what do we then do with this? Because we still need a wave 1 and a wave 2. With the overlap that we have here, so there's overlap here, right? And there's also overlap here. Now with regards to the overlap, we can always think about diagonals. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look how messy this is. If this is your 2 and this is your 4, you don't even have a wave 3. Wave 3 is the shortest wave between 1, 3, and 5, which isn't even allowed, plus the overlap invalidates an impulse. So in other words, your wave 2 has to either be this range or this range. Now if we count 1, 2 here, so we have a 1 and a 2, right? And then we can count the potential internal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. What do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, then we have the same issue. Then this is your 1, this is your 2, that's your 3. 3 is the shortest, so that doesn't work. This is also a live analysis, by the way. I didn't check the charts anymore after my latest update. I was watching other stuff and then I saw this. So wave 2 here or here. There's lots of overlap. 1, 2, can this be a wave 3? In that case, this has to be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ending on the highest amount of volume is generally not really preferred. And also if this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have overlap again between a 2 and a 4, which is also not preferred. So in other words, let's get this clear. It's not that easy to count a nice 5-wave structure in here. I guess you kind of get the idea because of the beginning and all the overlap that we have going on here. So then we get to a double 1, 2. Now in a double 1, 2, we then look for 1, 2, 1, 2, and preferably continuation, but instead we move down below the, in this case then preferably your wave 2, right? Diagonal-ish 1 with all the overlap. 1, 2, another 1, 2, and then continuation, right? Not going below here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, we move down. Not nice. Diagonal. Well, it's a bit too early to call diagonals at the moment. So if this is a 3-wave structure, then this would be wave 1 of a diagonal. You're looking for a 2, and then a continuation to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's way too early to talk about diagonals unless wave 4 is in, so I don't really like doing this. So at the moment it's actually not that easy to count this as a nice impulsive structure, which increases the probabilities that this structure is corrective. Zigzag, double zigzag, wave B or a wave X. And in this case you either have a double zigzag WXY or an ABC. No? A, B, C, W, X, Oh, wait, in this case, wait. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, W, no, A, that's an impulse, that's your A, this is your B, then you have a push up in a wave C, ending on a high amount of volume, C over here. So then this is W, that's your X, zigzag down, A, B, C, Y. Okay, there we go. Looks better than an impulse to the upside at least. Now what's also interesting here is the final push up ended on the highest amount of volume, which is generally wave C-ish. Preferably if this happens, you're going to be talking about a wave 3 and then see at least a couple of 4 or 5s. Before you get to push on the highest amount of volume, because most commonly wave 4, sorry, I was reading chat. Because most commonly wave 3 has the highest amount of volume, by far most commonly, we actually want to count a 3 and then a 4 and a 5. But that also means that any range before is then considered a wave 2, because this is your 3. This is the push to the upside. Which therefore means that if this is your latest 1, 2, 3, you actually want to see a nice 4 and a 5. Unless this one red candle is your wave 4 compared to what we have here, there is no wave 4. Right? Besides, if we take it from here to here, did we hit this one as well? I think we hit this. Yeah. And besides, let me explain this as well. And even if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, preferably because of the volume in this leg up, we still get another 4 and another 5, because then you have here another 1, 2, right? You're going to create 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. But we didn't. So if this is your 1, 2 before and then 3, 4, 5, we want to look for 4, hit the 6 on 8. It's not a target you want to hit for a wave 4. So looking at this structure to the upside, especially the start, is really ugly for an impulsive structure, but it can work in a double zigzag. But this is important for the scenarios on the 1 hour time frame, which we will continue to discuss. But it of course impacts the probabilities, like the beginning of this move and not seeing a push through resistance does impact the probabilities negatively for your wave 1, 2 continuation up. Besides, we spoke about this a lot of times during the live stream and in videos, that the beginning of your wave 1 here is not a great start as a 5-wave structure. Of course, you can be like, oh look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you zoom in, it's I don't know, I can't get over this. If this is your 1, 2, 3, this has to be your 4 and then a leg up in 5. Right? Preferably we actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with inside wave 3 an internal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We never got the 4 and a 5. So it increases probabilities for a 3-waver here instead of an impulse. We'll get to that. But counting a wave 1 here would mean a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, and then what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. We need another 4, 5. Well, we don't have another 4, 5. So in this scenario, you would need to count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. This wave 4 then needs to be connected to this wave 2. Okay, very short wave 4, potential, but then what is this doing in the middle? So yeah, it's just not a great impulsive structure to the upside, no? Anyway. Wave 2 time-wise is not yet a problem. We're getting there though, because the current low is at about the 3 fib time, which is still okay, but you can see that's an orange line. So if you do not build bullish structures to the upside here, and at the moment it looks more 3-wavy than impulsive for now, ending the corrective structure at a later stage for wave 2, well, we're going to get to the 4 fib time, and the 4 is rare for a wave 2, right? That's why it's red. So it starts to really lower probabilities for an impulsive scenario. Okay, so that covered. Let's then go to the WXY/triangle. They are in the same picture because the price movement between the two is the same. You either look for your W, X, and your Y, or A, B, C, D, E. It's the same movement. You move up, you move down, and then eventually you continue, pretty much. Right? I'll answer some questions, of course, in a little bit. So just going through the chart for now. Now inside the WXY, if I quickly remove the triangle, we have a zigzag in a W, right? You can only have a zigzag or a flat in W, so those are the only two options. Now clearly it's not a flat, so we then need a zigzag. Wave X can be any corrective structure, and wave X can be a real pain in the ass. And so is wave B oftentimes as well. So in this case, right, we can't put the wave X here. We could put wave X here, zigzag in X, right? And then a wave Y, zigzag, zigzag, flat, A, B, C, but then you want to see an impulsive structure to the upside. So in other words, putting wave Y here is actually the result is exactly the same as this. And that is why I prefer to show this compared to the WXY, because there's no difference. So therefore, if we are looking for a longer wave 4, right, on the 4-hour time frame, preferably your wave X is in that case not finished. Now let me have a quick look at time here from the high to the low. We're currently at the 2-3 fib time, so that's still okay. Yeah, it's still okay for your wave X. The thing is that usually with Elliott waves, and this is a tip that I'll give here as well, is generally the more simple counts have the highest probability of working out. The moment things are starting to be too complex for your liking, like you're counting WXYs everywhere and everything is complex and ta-da-da, usually there's other stuff that works better or that eventually plays out, and then in hindsight you're like, oh, why didn't see that, right? At least it's something to consider. But this is the WXY is the complex scenario, because inside your wave X you then look for another WXY where this is a zigzag to the upside in a wave W, so now we count it as a 3-waver. Then you have your wave X as a flat, but then if you're looking for a wave Y to the upside, right, wave Y, because W is a zigzag, wave Y can only be a flat or a triangle. Now the only way to count this piece of price action a flat at the moment would be to label this the low, A, B, C to the upside. Doing a quick pull here. Oh, we did hit the wave Y target. However, in a flat structure, if your X would be finished here and you're looking for Y and an A, B, C to the upside, again, we need an impulse, because wave C is a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have just identified that counting this move up as a 5-waver does not look that great. Right? Doesn't look that great. So it also lowers the probabilities that this is your X, this is your flat in Y. Besides, your most common flat is an expanding flat, and the wave B target for an expanding flat is down here. So we didn't touch it. This would be a regular flat, ABC. The issue is your wave C, which looks more like a 3-wave structure. So that leaves this scenario in the dark, pretty much. Because if this is your W, and you then end X here as in a flat, then your wave X needs to be either a flat, which is an A, B, take the lows, C. That's still a potential count. 3-wave structure in A can work, yes. Or a triangle, which means we literally go sideways for, I don't know, like till mid next week or whatever, like even more confusing price action on the lower time frames. And this is then your wave Y, which finishes your X, and then you still get a Y to the downside. Not to forget. And this wave Y by itself has to be a flat or a triangle. If wave X is finished, you still need your wave Y. Very complex, actually quite hypothetical still because of the structure to the upside. So the only structure at the moment in X to end it with would be ABC or a triangle. Okay. A more simple structure, which I'm never too big of a fan of triangles until your wave D is in, would be a wave A, B, C, D, E. And then continuation up. Invalidations are very clear, right? The high and the low here, 76, 67K. All of the waves in the triangle have to be zigzag structures, zigzag family structures. 4 out of the 5 waves have to be simple zigzag structures, so either an ABC up or an ABC down, 535. If one of the waves is not a simple zigzag, it is by far most common wave C or wave D. Wave C is a bit more common. Inside wave C, however, if we want to count this as a zigzag structure to the downside, we need to take a fib from the high to the low of your potential first. If we count, sorry, I'm going too quick. Counting this as zigzag would either be a 535, ending either here or here, whatever, or a WXY. Now what you'll see is if I take a fib from the high to the low, this low here, which is even the higher low, to the high, we didn't even hit the 0.618. And the 0.618 is generally regarded as a minimum target for a wave C or a wave Y, for an ABC or a WXY, but we didn't hit it, which does lower the probabilities that this is a 3-wave structure. Now it's gonna, I'll summarize everything at the end because I can imagine it's gonna be complex, like, yo, this is so much information, what the fuck is going on, right? What are the probabilities? We'll get there. So yeah, that's what I said. We didn't hit the 0.618, right? Which decreases probabilities for a finished 3-wave structure here. If we still get a move down, A, B, C, then at least we hit it, right? Then you would have a finished 3-wave structure, or you need a finished 5-wave structure. But in both cases, you're looking for the lows one more time. So the triangle wave C is not that pretty. Preferably your wave D is in as well, based on local structures. WXY potential here. Oh boy. Good. Finally, a scenario where so far, interestingly, there's not really any problem except for the bullish CVDs on all of the time frames. So here we have our wave 1. Oh, by the way, in a leading diagonal, all of the waves can be 3-wave structures. If so, all of them have to be zigzag family structures. Every wave can be a simple, double, or triple zigzag, right? So here we then need a zigzag family structure. Here we then have a zigzag family structure, WXY in that case. Here we are still looking for another WXY or ABC, preferably now A, B, and then a wave C with potentially B finished. right? Possible, invalidation is the high, so that makes life easy. And then you look for a wave C, an impulsive structure to the downside. In that case, if your high of B is in here, and you're looking for a C to the downside, you want to start with an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to see one more low on lower volume. Now the target for your wave 4 is taken from the high of 2 to the current low. Toggle on the wave 4 target area 0.236 to the 0.5. And the 0.618 is your invalidation. If price moves up and hits the 618 before taking another low, preferably on lower volume, we're going to be counting this as an ABC to add to the amount of 3-wave structures we already have in this range. But in other words, if this is counted an ABC, it increases probabilities to either continue the range, go sideways for longer, or take the high one more time. So in this diagonal scenario, we're looking for price to move towards the downside. Of course, you want to start with an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So preferably finish a low time frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a bit of a bounce tomorrow, and maybe during the news tomorrow, tank. And then in the weekend, you get your wave 4, you get potentially your wave 5, grab liquidity, and then next week you go back up. And then you go for your wave 4, and then probably by the end of next week, when the weekend hits, you're somewhere at the high. Then as the week after, so in 2 weeks, right? On Monday, you sweep the highs, and then you go down to your 5. And then by the end of, in 2 weeks, whenever that is, the middle of next month, you're going to be somewhere down here. And then you get a bigger retracement, and then you do that. And then we go down. And if this happens, then what we spoke about earlier today in the previous live stream was of great importance. Can this be a low? Yes, but it's not pretty. So that's why I at least observe this scenario. Now, the probabilities for this scenario only really significantly increase if you take this low and preferably hit 65.5k. That would be a nice one. But taking this low would be a starter. So that makes risk management relatively easy, because taking this low would significantly increase probabilities for more bearish scenarios, which includes this diagonal, which so far has no invalidation hit or has no problems at the moment. We can count a WXY or ABC in here. We can count a WXY in here. We can count a potential ABC if we move to the downside. That depends on the local structure. We want to see a wave 4 and a wave 5 for then a potential 1, 2, 3 range over the weekend, and then one more drop, liquidity, move up. Right? So it is a very clear scenario. It's not that easy to give the highest probabilities to a bearish scenario when all the CVDs are bullish, which is messing with my head. So preferably you would just take the high, have all the bullish CVDs play out, and then whatever, then go down, you know. That would be great. But there's a lot of 3-wavy structures here. So okay, that then being said, let's go over the probabilities. This scenario, 1, 2, and then move up in 3. Not great probabilities, because this move to the upside does count better as a 3-wave structure compared to a 5-wave structure, especially because of all the overlap in the beginning, right? Reducing the probabilities for this very impulsive scenario, which increases the probabilities to continue the range or move down. Yep. Second scenario is your WXY. Zigzag in W, complex structure X, flat in Y, or triangle, more commonly a flat. inside wave X, zigzag in W, flat in X, and then in Y we can only have a flat or a triangle. Meaning, in this scenario, the probabilities are higher to continue ranging or go down. Overlap in probabilities with the previous scenario. And then we have this, and in this scenario we go down. I'll get to chat in a second. So in other words, the probabilities at the moment are higher to either continue the range, and at a later stage we can increase probabilities for bullish scenarios here, right? If we continue ranging, get some more structures, W, X, Y, the triangle, no? Or we move down. At the moment, that's the highest probability. Now, the bullish CVD divergences that we have, so I prefer to use them on the lower time frames, right? Which is more important, but I can't deny that on the 4 hour, we had bullish CVD here. That one already played out. We took the high. But now with these lows here, we had bullish CVD here, right? Also played out. But look, like prices moving up, CVD moving down. It is something that I keep in mind, but it's messing with probabilities, because from an Elliott Wave point of view, at the moment there is not really a lot of strength, right, being shown. There was potential, but then probabilities now are higher. That's a 3-wave structure as analyzed in the beginning. And if you do make at least one more low on a lower amount of volume, what's my eye doing, on a lower amount of volume. So in other words, if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3 high amount of volume, 4, 5, then this is going to be a new impulsive structure, either counted as a wave 1 or a wave A, meaning you would expect a retracement and at least a continuation in a wave C or a wave 3. That's something we'll then only figure out once you actually start that move. If price hits the 618 at 68.8k, a wave 4 is invalidated, and the probabilities would increase for this to be a 3-wave structure instead of an impulse, which increases probabilities to at least continue the range or look for the highs. A double 1, 2 at the moment is less likely because your second wave 1 is so long in price compared to your first wave 1 and on much higher volume. So it makes more sense to count it a wave 3 or a wave C. So yeah, if you hit the 618 here, then the probability switch to horizontal price action or the high. Would actually I'm interested to at least, let me put an alarm on this here and also put an alarm at the low. Let's see, maybe if I wake up in the morning and I eventually grab my phone, I already know what happened if we hit one of these levels. So yeah, this is at the moment what I'm looking for, right? I gotta be honest, sometimes, so I always give probabilities in all of my content, and of course, luckily for the channel and for my ass, 99 out of 100 times we're very on point, very accurate. There's only one time where I was so wrong, I actually apologized in the next video. At the beginning of the next video. It's a very old one. It's like a year ago. But it's not always easy to communicate probabilities when there is conflicting signs. In other words, we have the CVDs, but there's at the moment not really any great strength. So sometimes that's something I'm doubting about. Like before I put a video online, I'm like, shall I re-record the probabilities and make it maybe a bit more bit more neutral, you know, like it's funny to see as well that how subscribers are affected by communication of probabilities as well. Now, of course, the channel is growing every day. There's new people coming, but you do notice a difference between being bullish in probabilities or bearish in the result. But at the moment, the probabilities as analyzed in the live stream here are higher to either continue ranging and then will whatever happens next week, or move down. So yeah, in the WXY scenario, it's quite likely you might revisit the lows here at some moment, because even if you do finish your wave X either as a flat ABC, you visit the lows, or as a triangle, then you still have wave Y to cope with, which is either again a flat or a triangle upon a triangle. That would be a mess. Your triangle here doesn't look that great because of your wave C with a second leg that didn't hit the 0.618, so that lowers the probabilities of your C there. And of course you can't have a flat in a wave C. So that doesn't look great. The bullish scenario, low time frame here, move to the upside, is very three-wavy to start with. It's a lot of overlap here. It doesn't count as a nice impulse. There is still the potential for a diagonal at least, which is your only bullish scenario, with then a zigzag family structure in your wave 1, zigzag in 2. If you can hit the 618, you want to see continuation. So at least that's of course what I always aim to do, is at least communicate also the levels with how probabilities then change, right? So if you hit this 618 before taking the low, well, probabilities increase to either continue ranging or look for the highs here, which is what you want in a diagonal, by the way. If this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, the probabilities are high to continue ranging or move down, and in that case the diagonal is interesting. So we do have the bullish CVDs which are messing with my head, but price action is not yet convincing. It was quite a nice move, but I wanted to see continuation. We didn't get continuation, rejecting, I gotta say, perfectly at resistance. So I'm very happy about that. But preferably, if we actually were more bullish, we wanted to break this level and move to the next area of resistance above 70K, but we didn't make it. So yeah, that's that. Yep. So yeah, let's see if tomorrow we might get some action. It's quite a long range as well. Oh, by the way, also the fact, of course, that it's lower probabilities. This is a new wave 1 to the upside, automatically decreases probabilities for a double 1-2 on the chart. This one, where this is the low of your second wave 2, and you then have a 1-2-1-2, another 1, another 2, and then locally you want to count impulsive structures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only one potentially left would be a diagonal in a 1. But then we need to hit the 618 here and move up. But yeah, it's not great probabilities for the double 1-2 because of the move here. So that's an impact. Which leaves us with the wave 4, right? WXY or the triangle. Triangle wave C is not ideal. WXY is a bit early. Or it leaves you with the bearish scenario. So yeah, your bullish scenario would be triangle WXY. Bearish is move down. Okay. Elliott Wave live. Yeah? I gotta say, I do really enjoy puzzling. I love thinking about the range. But what I never really like is if CVD goes against probabilities from an Elliott Wave point of view. So that is why the probabilities for me only really start to turn bearish if we take the low, and then especially if we hit this one before taking out the high. That is when the bullish CVDs for me will get a lower priority on the 4 hour. But let's see where we are tomorrow. And if this first structure down, is it going to be an impulse? Are we going to take this low? Or are we going to move up and hit the 618, which increases probabilities to revisit the resistance potentially. So, well, okay. Anyway. Let me have a quick look at what you guys said. So yeah, it's a little bit less structured than usual, right? The usual live streams. It's also a lot more calm. Maybe you recognize it. Of course, I'm also tired in a way. It's been a long day. Man, I have so much to do. But hopefully tomorrow I can check off, or check off, at least finish some stuff. And I have a meeting with my business coach as well. And one of the questions that I have is also about balance. So what was it? Yeah, of course it's business and speaking and all the stuff, but also the balance between work, social, sport. Now, sport and work is good, but also doing fun things. I love my work, so I tend to just work because I love what I do. I am improving my Elliott Wave counting from your live stream. Cheers, Mohammed Bouba. I'm happy to hear that it is valuable to you. It's also a reason why I enjoy live streams. I can show a lot more, right? I can show a lot more about what and why, and answer questions, which hopefully helps as well. USPCs tomorrow. I heard tomorrow is probably going to be a volatile day. Until then, most likely, I won't be surprised. What's up, MT? How do you validate wave 4 from wave 2? Well, you need a wave 2 before you start thinking about a 4. No? So you have a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Preferably, right? Or preferably, impulse in 1, impulse in 3. So you need to look at the subdegree, but also wave 3 has by far most commonly the highest amount of volume. So your volume pattern is going to look like this, a little bit up, a little bit down, surge in your wave 3 to the upside, and then move down in a 4. So the moment you see a volume increase, right, a big surge in volume, from an impulsive perspective, what you actually look for is going to be at least a 4 and a 5, with a wave 5 on lower volume. So you move down in the correction 4, move up in 5, but 5 doesn't make it to the high in volume of 3. That is what you prefer to see. So yeah, in an impulse, of course, difference between wave 2 and 4 in that sense is relatively easy because you first want 3. Now, when things might become a bit more complex is when you have a 1, 2, and then your second wave 1 is longer than your first, but it's still a 1, 2, and then you get a 3. So now your second wave 1 is longer than the first wave 1. So yeah, second wave 1 longer than your first wave 1 does lower the probabilities a little bit. And then you have a range which can also be longer than your wave 2. So the second 2 can be longer than the first 2. Again, it's probabilities, but it can happen. This is what can be a little bit more difficult to identify as an impulse, right? You're going to be thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but instead it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. Nonetheless, you're going to trade it exactly the same. You're going to be looking for price to move up because if this is your 4, you're going to be looking for a 5. And if you're in a long position and accidentally price moves above the high with an incredible amount of volume, you're like sitting in your chair and be like, yo, let it ride, let it go. So it doesn't really matter if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or a 1, 2, 1, 2. You're going to be looking at the same direction. And then once price breaks out, that is when you look at what you get. The price moves back up. What's up, Awesomistic? Roy, welcome. Koen's wife is secretly a market maker. Tell me about it. One thing she can absolutely make Your cooking, man. Oh, man, she's like, she's such a chef. It's incredible. Like, love it. Hello, Koens. How do you calculate the wave C in an expanding flat? The two 1.618. So you have wave A, wave B, and then impulsive C. Trend-based subextension from the high to the low of A to the high of B. Toggle on the 1.618. The 2.618, by the way, is an extension target. The 1.382 and the 1.236 are very rare. So the 1.618, and take a normal fib from the low of A to the high of B. Toggle on the 1.618. And the two 1.618s, this is your common target area for wave C. Now, of course, sometimes, yeah, the 2.618 might overlap, but this is, of course, an example. So if you measure it in real life, of course, sometimes the 1.618s are very close. Of course, your target is always minimum below A in this case. But that is how you measure it, the two 1.618s. Being very defensive. Trading is about defense first. No? Hello, Koens. I have been robbed and I know who did it. Only ETH disappeared from my wallet. It was an unauthorized transaction. I have no idea how it happened. Please help if you have a minute. Yo, so first of all, that sucks. Sorry to hear that you've been robbed. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, pretty much everything has been said in chat. I'm not someone that can help with money disappearing or robbery or scammers. That would be something for FBI, police, other crime institutions in your country. Or if it happened on an exchange, then of course contact the exchange as well, and talk to support, which can be a pain in the ass, but you know. That's pretty much the only thing. I personally don't yet have experience with this, so I also don't really know how the process goes. But you know who did it. I mean, if you know who did it, yeah, I mean, it makes life a little bit easier, I suppose. But in that case, yeah, go to the police. That would probably be the only explanation, and try to get your money back. Especially if you know who did it, you can just give them a name, picture, and yeah, see what happens next. I'm not in a position to help any other way than what I just said, unfortunately. Let's just hope that you're gonna get your stuff back soon. That would be nice. Yeah, Felix, that's definitely on the cards, especially because of this move here. Seed phrase, yeah, if you have any passwords or the phrases and stuff, just change everything, or get a new hardware wallet with a new code, or you know, get it off. Yeah. Thanks, Felix. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, all I can do is share my insights, and hopefully it is valuable, right? Not in a position to click buttons for other people, never financial advice, but I love sharing Elliott Waves and hopefully help some people learning more about Elliott Waves, which of course is, side note, technical analysis. But cheers. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Happy to see you, Papa. What's up, man? Good to have you here. Always keep your crypto in a hardware wallet. Trezor or Ledger. Trezor Save 3. Thanks, Hira. Seeing more and more Elliott Wave bros being unsure. The market right now is just far more fundamentally driven. Yeah, it's just a range. I mean, moves like these do give a bit more clarity. So having a bit of a break. This range here, so this was still okay. But once we came down, that was messy. But now this move up gives a bit of clarity again. So that is why the probabilities I communicated are easier. So and also because I saw price moving down here instead of impulsive continuation, the probability switch immediately locally, which has an impact on the probabilities on a 4-hour time frame, which is now either you go sideways for even a longer period of time in triangle with wave C is not nice, or a WXY that would be preferred, but then probabilities are high, you're still going to visit 67.1k one more time, or you have the bearish scenario. Really rare, never prefer unless exactly. Yeah, there's of course a couple of things I use in my analysis that I say relatively often, and this is one of them. Yeah, cheers, made Ginarty. Maybe a wave 1 finish at the high and wave 2 is unfolding potential, but this being an impulse up, it's not looking too great because of the start. There's a lot of overlap. If you go to the beginning of the live stream, I talk more in detail about this structure to the upside here. Can't you fix it? Yeah, I'll get my tools. I'll press some buttons tomorrow. I'm located in the southern side of the Netherlands. Yeah. Below Amsterdam, but still above Rotterdam. David, always very qualified and well-explained analysis. Thank you very much. Greetings from Germany. David, what's up? Good to have you here. Welcome, and greetings from the Netherlands. We're neighbors, at least for now, before I move to the south of France, but I'm not so far away for you. Skywalker, where you're from? Play the slots, exactly. Is the CVD still looking bullish? On the higher time frames, yes, but locally, wait for a range, not so much now. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, I have the scammer alert channel. Thanks, David, for the suggestion, but there's no Elliott Wave counters that can really help. I always follow my own analysis, but I know X-Force Global. We know each other, and we also follow each other. So we stay up to date with each other. At least he's one of the few that actually sticks to the rules, which is good to see. But it's very rare for me to really look at other counters on YouTube, at least, because also time. But I know X-Force. Yeah, I sometimes check him out. But generally, we have a similar stance on the market. That's also the thing, that once you reach similar levels, you're gonna have counts that are quite close. In, like, if you put them next to one another, they might even be the same, and that's just because once you reach a certain level in Elliott Waves, you're gonna be looking at the chart in a similar way, so you'll notice overlap. But yeah, I don't really look anywhere else. I very much follow my own, and that's something that I've learned. Let me actually tell you. So I used to be in a Discord group back in the day with friends, like friends I met online, and I was an Elliott Waver in there, and there were a few more. And what I noticed is, and of course some of them I respect, and I was still learning, so but I noticed that eventually once I started getting better and better and better, when I saw someone else's analysis, I got influenced, would change my analysis, but then I was actually correct and they were wrong, and then I changed it wrongly because, and that's my fault, of course, because eventually I get convinced by someone else. So what I have learned, and that's also something I really recommend to anyone always when I talk about building a plan, is first of all, build a plan, get a skill level up, and then just focus on yourself. Don't try to everywhere look for signs and signals. That's also a reason why I rarely ever look at analysis of other YouTubers. I very much focus on my analysis. I don't want to be influenced. If I am wrong, I am wrong. If I am correct, I'm correct. But I trust myself more because I know where I am. However, I do recommend other analysts that I know do a very good job. And from experience, I at least know that X-Force Global, besides being a great guy, is an amazing Elliott Wave analyst. And I also think that koenztrading is a really cool guy. Love the way he talks. He's more macro, more high time frame. But I love his nonchalant, straight to the point, no bullshit type of talking. Always makes me giggle if I watch something. So yeah, if you make a plan, very much focus on yourself. And I agree with Thought Drifter. I don't know if Thought Drifter is here still. But in Discord groups in general, which also includes my group, of course, there's many people sharing insights and sharing counts. But it might influence your head. It might influence your trading, right? You can look at it and be like, oh, let's see if it is the same. And then someone doesn't have something that's the same as you, and you're going to be doubting yourself. You're going to change it. But then in hindsight, you were right. You're like, oh, fuck. And then you're going to be like, okay, it's time for me to have a break. I'll go out of the group and maybe come back later, maybe never. But I'm going to focus on me now. And I think that sometimes is very good to do. I think that Thought Drifter had that for a short moment as well, where he was like, my trading is affected. I need headspace. So I think it's a very good skill or character trait or whatever you like to call it, but build a plan or get very good in a certain strat like Elliott Wave, and then trust yourself. Because if you mess up and you make a mistake, it will be easier to identify why, and you also improve better. Right? So, and if you're correct, you're correct. You don't have to look everywhere. Yeah. Also, recently, a guy named Chart Wizard Trading was in the chat here, and I know he tagged me on YouTube for in one of his videos, and he's also an Elliott Wave counter, but I didn't have the time yet to watch a video, so I don't know his skill level, but he is from the US, also an Elliott Wave analyst. I heard stories about moon charts. I gotta write his name down because I don't even know the channel. So apparently he does stuff with Elliott Waves, but I don't know because I've never checked. So I can't recommend people I don't know how good the skill is, but I'll have a look. Trump. They found him guilty. Oh boy. Probably the 50k is not the low, and there's another low. And then I read this. Can you put a number? Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Can I put a number on probabilities? Probably, yes. Nice counter there. Probably I can. However, before starting to talk about so if you want a number, so I probably in every video I can put a number to it, but I don't want to do it. You know why? Because I don't want to influence someone's trading. Because if I say at this moment in time, the probabilities are 90% to take this high instead of the low, what do you think is going to happen when there's 2,000 people watching the video? Yeah, they're going to be clicking buttons, no? Not the red one. They're going to be looking for the green one. And this was a very high probability long, by the way. So I say higher, lower, which is always, so if I say higher, it's always at least 60-40, right? Higher probabilities for this or that is a minimum of 60-40, but sometimes it's 90-10, sometimes it's 70-30 or 80-20, but you know. So the thing is, what are the probabilities of this being the low? Now, for me to make such a statement, I would first need to see local weakness. So at the moment, this being the low is not even a probability I consider. Is it or is it not? I'm not really too interested. I first want to see, do we take this low? If we take this low, probabilities increase. So at the moment, one could say, okay, you know, probabilities are 50-50 because ending it here in a WXY is not that great, right? It can also still be a wave 1, 2, 3 or ABC, sorry, in the bullish scenario, wave ABC or WXY. So pretty much, it's pretty much 50-50. It's not a great low. It's not a great end to a corrective structure. Now, you can't trade 50-50, can you? Now, that is when local stuff comes in. The moment you take out 66.2K, you're going to drop a few probabilities in the bearish scenario. However, there's two bearish scenarios, a flat, a WXY, and a zigzag. So now, it's not only probabilities of taking this low or not. Now we have two scenarios that get a higher probability. One of them takes the low. That's your zigzag. The other one is a WXY, where you may not take the low. Right? You can as well get an ABC and then move back up and never go to 56. But we don't know. So in other words, the moment price takes this low, and especially if it hits 65.5K, the probabilities increase for either the WXY or the ABC. In that case, compared to bullish scenarios, it's going to be about 70-30 for the bears, looking for a bigger structure to the downside. And if we get some more confirmation with a corrective structure up, it's going to be 80-20 or 90-10 for another move to the downside in that case, right? But you still don't really know what you get because wave C has to be an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wave Y can be a zigzag, A, B, C. But you'll only know once you get the second leg down in that case. So up until that moment, Y and C are the same probabilities. Now, that's a little bit easy spoken because honestly, your ABC looks better than your WXY just because wave X has to be a 5-wave structure in a flat, A, B, C running flat or expanding flat, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your wave 4, besides being shorter than 2 in time, is also incredibly shallow, didn't hit the 0.236. So the probabilities for your ABC would be higher than your WXY. So if you do hit 65.5, then the probabilities for ABC moving below 56 compared to your WXY is likely going to be about 70-30 as well at that moment in time, 60-40, 70-30. But that's the thing, right? It's forever changing based on local price action. So on a weekly time frame, right? If you ask me on the weekly, like what are the probabilities for the bull market to continue compared to price to move down, right? And this is the high. Probabilities here are like, because you can never say 100%. That doesn't exist in the market. There's no certainties. 90% probabilities you're going to see higher prices, like super certain. We also even hit an 886 for good measure. Right, very corrective price action. Even if you drop to the downside, it doesn't matter, right? Higher 90%, 90-10, you're going to continue a bull market before at a later state potentially moving to much, much lower prices. But even if you continue this range and you go down for an ABC to the lower 50s, hit this order block, who cares, right? It's part of the game. It doesn't change the probabilities. on a weekly time frame, right? So every time frame has its own probabilities, and they're always changing based on new information. So I can mention values, but I don't want to influence too much, because that's what I'm afraid of. And I know it's already happening. I know people and because that's what always happens on YouTube. I know, of course, if I say the probabilities are higher for this scenario compared to that scenario, that there's going to be people out there that will trade it, even though everywhere, no financial advice, I'm not responsible for your wins nor your losses. I really don't care. But I don't want to add another layer to it and be like, oh, it's 90-10, in probabilities like we pretty much had down here, which was incredibly high probabilities for upside, because let me explain. This was quite clearly an impulse up. And then you need to think wave C, A, or wave 1. This can only be a wave C for further downside in a running flat ABC, but a running flat is a very rare corrective structure, never preferred unless the other stuff fills. And the other stuff is counting this as a wave A or a wave 1. Probabilities are much higher for this to be a wave A or 1 compared to it being a wave C. And that is why all the time in every video here, probabilities were higher to move up. I'm not saying 90-10 though, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I don't really like to add values. Of course, I can communicate them, but it's also changing. I want local confirmation to change higher time frame probabilities, and where were we? Marseille. Wait, you moved to Marseille the end of the year. Yeah. We're going to be very close indeed. Why on Google Maps did they change that? Wait. So we have very close. I'm going to be here. Marseille, yeah. So we can do some trading sessions together. So I will likely move to Beausoleil. That is where we're looking for at the moment. We don't like... So Beausoleil is like the French side of Monaco. The thing is that Monaco is actually... It's quite a very touristic, quite a busy city. And Beausoleil is more the backdrop against the mountain, which gives you a bit more of a view. Of course, Monaco has a lot of high buildings, so I mean, at least you can see the ocean. But it's also a bit more calm. And you're still close to the Nice airport as well, which I like, so that where is it? So that I can travel. Where is it? Here it is. So the airport, easy also by train or at least public transport, also car, of course. But probably that's where we are going. No volatility while you're alive. I know. No, I'm still in the Netherlands. I will move. Well, the 31st of July, we have to be out of the house. Take profit 1800, close the long at 69,415. Good job. Have a planned trade to plan. So I answered these questions. 2 more eyes to see account. Yeah, especially in messy structures, it might be interesting to observe what other people have. But yeah, I always prefer to focus on my own counting. I've had the consequences of looking at others and then changing stuff in the past. However, I definitely sometimes check out some others, get some ideas, but usually, especially with the better counters, you're usually on the same wavelength. Pun was intended. Answer this. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, of course, if you're a skilled trader, but still, you know, it's skill, you can say, but it's also just time. I like to spend time on everything that I do. I rarely just ever look at really what others do. How did you become so good at this? I I practice. It took me 2 years. Of course, what you see is about I mean, now I'm now doing this for. I use Elliott Waves for 3 years and 3 months. So, but I started nowhere, right, without any knowledge. So what I did is got myself a notebook and started at the very beginning, which is writing down what an impulse is. I can even show you. My first ever Elliott Wave drawing, some people have already seen it. I sometimes show it. The first ever drawing I made. Impulse wave. Corrective wave. That's where I started. Elliott waves and Fibonacci, golden ratio, ABC correction, flats, triangle, WXY, WXYXZ, you know, like that's why I started. So get a notebook and start writing. And then eventually implement. And at the beginning, you're going to suck because you think just by reading and stuff, you're like, okay, I get it. But then the markets aren't as easy as the book and the illustrations. And it's very frustrating learning Elliott Waves, especially in the beginning. So I also had a break in my first year, at the end of my first year of 2 months, because I got pissed because it didn't work out. But eventually it did. Yo, have a good one, Skywalker. What about I get, of course he's very big, so I can imagine I get the question a lot. Now, I always aim to be as respectful as possible, and Ben, I think, is an amazing guy, as in a person, and he's built an amazing business for himself, or an amazing channel. 200k subscribers is incredible. Many can only dream of achieving that, right? Including myself. I do think that his success has an impact on his quality. So he uploads so many videos, but the problem is that in every video, there's at least one Elliott Wave rule or guideline that's either wrong, or a scenario has very low probabilities, but it's the main. And that's a bit of a thing. So I think he's a great guy. It's just that I think if he would upload less and put more time in quality instead of quantity, I think he'll do better. Maybe not in subscribers, as of course subscribers love having videos about alts. Well, yeah, that's the thing. If I watch an Elliott Wave video, I will know in the first minute if someone is good or not, probably the first 15 seconds. But the average Joe that watches a video of Ben and doesn't really know Elliott Waves too well in a lot of detail won't know that a rule is not followed or a guideline. They just look at, oh, that box is his support, that's the box, you know. So, and that's no problem. That's no problem. As long as things work out, it works out. But if a scenario works out and price moves into your direction, it is not always the correct scenario. And this is something that you will struggle with in your own journey, is that if you have a movement in price and people are going to, oh, triangle, and price moves up, and you're like, oh, I knew it, price moves up. But actually it's not a triangle. If you look at the subwave structures, it's actually a WXY and then you move up and not a triangle. But it's, you know, yeah, what do you know? So, And that's just an example. There's many examples. It's also targets, but yeah, I think he's an amazing guy in what he has achieved. It's the problem is the rules and the guidelines, and also because of his channel, I actually made my channel, because he uploads 3 times a day, and it's very minimalistic content, right? You press the button, you start recording, you record, you enter recording, you ship it to YouTube. I was like, well, I can do that. I'm not a hero in editing. I don't know shit about editing and thumbnails. I just make stuff in Paint, make 30 of the same thumbnails. And then eventually Douwe came in and he made a more professional thumbnail, one of the community members. So thanks to him. But I was like, well, I can see the mistakes. I always get annoyed when I watch the content. So why don't I just make content? And I got questions anyway in some Discord groups of people asking, yo, can you share your chart or your counts? So so I did, and that was a reason for me to launch a channel and be like, well, I can upload 3 times a day just like him. But I'm going to focus on sticking to rules and guidelines. I'm going to focus on Bitcoin itself, so less is more. And this year, I've added altcoin streams every Sunday. So yeah, so every Sunday is altcoin stream. So that I do altcoins, but I not push them, but I focus the alts in one stream so that it is condensed. And in that one stream, we can do 5, 10, 15 different alts. And then that is the stream. So it's not like separate videos. But yeah, I mean, if you look at his channel, it's amazing what he's done. Like, absolutely incredible. 200K. Holy shit. Like, it's crazy, no? It's insane. I'm like, what are we? We are at what? 11 something, no? I mean, honestly, the channel has grown very quickly. Not gonna lie. 11,579, which is incredible. Absolutely insane. I've never expected. I actually sat on the couch before the stream, before watching Dexter. I came down after making my latest video. I went to my wife, and I showed her the statistics of the channel as well. And it's just insane to see where a year ago the channel was, and then here, and that's just thanks to all of you. So it's incredible. It's insane to go like a year and a little bit, and now almost 1,600. What the fuck? For example, if you are a skilled trader for 4 years, you won't even join groups to find other setups counts. How about, yeah, so I'm not even in other groups. I'm in my group. I'm managing everything there, yeah. I'm also not in the industry for 4 years though. Not yet. Getting close. How about a triangle wave 4 for the current range? I've covered the triangle in the analysis earlier. It's just that your wave C is low probability, because your second leg in your C of a triangle, so what you're going to be looking for is A, B, C, D, E. The second leg in your wave C, this one, either has to be A, B, C, or W, X, Y. The problem is this low didn't touch the 0.618 trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high. So it lowers probabilities that this is the end of a wave C in a triangle. In other words, it decreases probabilities that this is a finished 3-wave structure. So you're either going to be looking at this as a 5-waver or the beginning of a 3-wave, like bigger 3-wave structure. Either sideways or down in that case. Now, have you ever done Elliott Waves on ES? Feel like it's up only for decades. Yeah, I think I have looked at it once upon a time. Like, these are the chart, like, because I don't even think it's in here. ES1, right? No, what is it? Yeah, It must be this one, no? Okay, maybe not. This one then? Oh, shit. Oh no, never mind. Okay, so I have at least some folders here. Ooh, I have no idea how old this is though. Okay. So even in my bearish count, I was still looking for price to move up here. Oh, the expanding flat scenario. Now that would be dramatic. It must have been a while because I'm pretty sure we weren't yet at all-time highs when I actually put this on the chart. Bullish. Yeah. So I mean, in general, I was looking for price to continue towards the upside. If I look at all the scenarios I had on the chart, so even in my bearish scenario, I was looking for a 5 up. In the bullish scenario, 5, finish 3, another 4 and 5. In this bearish scenario, I was also looking for price to move up. Common target area for B is where we are right now. So, so I was looking for upside there, and then here also for upside, 5-wave structure, and here also for upside. So I mean, yeah, not bad. But yeah, I never really look at it that much, I suppose. I haven't seen that chart in a very long time. Yo, Mark. Let me go through this a little quicker. Boselai, I think I visited a night. We started in Amsterdam, woke up somewhere in Prague. Must have been a great time. What's up, Max Trades? How you doing, man? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. I'm doing good. Just chilling. 67k low will be taken probably. Probability is an yes, this can be an impulse down, right? 1, 2, 3. You want to see a 4 and a 5. You don't want to see the 618 hit. Taken from I'll take it from there. Detail 68.8. That would decrease probabilities for an impulse. 67k low. Yeah, I mean, probabilities now are higher to either go sideways or take the low because of this structure up. I agree as well. I think community, like, I really enjoy community. So I'm very much a community person. And especially in my development, I love being part of communities. You're sharing your journey. You're not alone. You can talk with like-minded people, even meet like-minded people in real life as well. So it really helps with the process. But this is the thing that I explained, that once I got good enough, I started to be less and less active in Discord communities because I started to focus more and more and more on my own stuff, trusting myself, trading myself, and less looking outside. But of course, now and then I do like to then mess around in a general chat and having contact with people that do the same. And nowadays, of course, I'm very active in my own Discord, and of course, in Discord, I see people sharing pictures. I know the good counters as well, right? I love looking at the charts. But yeah, nowadays I'm at a level where, first of all, it doesn't influence me anymore. I also, as mentioned earlier, don't really follow any other like great big content creators too much, because I'm mainly focused on my own stuff, which includes Discord and the community in there. So I prefer to spend time in there and talk with the people. I try to follow, yeah. That's good. Have you ever seen Peaky Senate? Just curious. He doesn't post a lot. Small channel, good counter. I don't actually. So that would be something on the list as well. Peaky. Okay, there we go. One to keep in mind. I agree with the isolating part though. If I would be a full-time trader, it's very lonely in a way. Yeah, I like community. Look, in the end, I think the discussion here is not about who's right. It's about every person is different. You will have full-time traders that love to be part of communities, and you will have full-time traders that are very solo and all by themselves. So you just got to get yourself to a level where you trust yourself more than anything else, and yeah. But in both cases, both people can be excellent in what they do with their strategy. I think you have much more connection in being live. People will come when you bring good content. Hope so. And hopefully people enjoy it. Yeah, but I also love being live, and that's I guess because of my background, where it's the gaming and esports industry. So used to be a esports player myself professionally for 11 years, and live streaming on Twitch back in the day, hundreds of people watching. I loved live streaming. It's now kind of like reflecting in YouTube live streams nowadays. Gold Forever, what's up? 68,850. At the moment, probabilities like this as a high volume move to the downside. So we're just waiting to see if this confirms a 5 wave or not. But if this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, grab the low, find some support, retrace 68.5 is 68,850 is absolutely a possibility. Yes. I mean, that's just very low probabilities. It doesn't really make too much sense. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finish 5, retrace to the upside. Yeah, there's 68,850 is of course quite close. And if you move up immediately, A, B, C, and up, then you're going to be there as well. So in both cases, it definitely has probabilities to be hit sooner or later. Yeah. Yeah, of course, making Elliott waves understandable. The problem is that if you show wrong Elliott waves with mistakes, you're teaching people the wrong shit, which is something that I don't enjoy to see. So I am very much in a position to only show one scenario and be like, that's the one I'm looking at. But that's not how Elliott waves work. You always need one bearish and one bullish scenario, and you follow different time frames. Now, of course, I can make one video only analyzing one time frame and end with probabilities, and you're going to have 4-minute, 3-minute videos. That's a possibility. And if people would enjoy that more, I mean, I'm open to making 2-3-minute videos. I can almost upload them as shorts. The thing is, understandable, as in the terminology used, does not reflect, for me, in what he shows in his content. His charts are messy. He doesn't stick to rules and guidelines at least once a time per video. It's just that most of the followers probably don't see the rules and the guidelines that are not respected, or they don't see that the probabilities for the scenarios suggested are not the highest compared to other scenarios. And that is something that I can't cope with, so that's why I don't watch it. I respect every analyst, but you gotta stick to the rules. That's just something that I'm very strict with rules, and I can't watch any video of people that don't stick to rules. Can you share which books course you use to learn Elliott waves, or do you have a course to learn? Would be happy to join. Newbie here. Welcome, Kate. Good to have you here. So, I mean, in the description, if you scroll down, there's a couple of sources. One of them, this is a free website. If you go scroll down, description, and then Elliott Wave Education, there's a link there, bit.ly/Elliott Wave Detail. That's this website. I'm not affiliated. It's just a public open website. This one is great. This is where I would recommend to start. Read everything, make some notes, start with the impulses and then work your way down. And you can get the book, of course, from Frost and Prechter, Elliott Wave Principle. It's pretty much the Bible of Elliott Waves. And yes, I do have gold as well, which is mainly geared. So the gold membership is mainly focused on asking for feedback and like tips and tricks and communicate with me on you know, to help you develop quicker and become a better Elliott Wave counter, or more teaching, of course, you know. So give feedback on charts. People can ask me questions, potentially, like, you know, private live streams in gold, and ask more questions. Yeah. What's your prediction last day? The last day of this week. Yeah. The last day of this week. So you can't really put a great, like a time stamp on something. So probabilities for now, as long as you don't hit the 0.618 here, the probabilities are higher to take the low, finish a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do this overnight, probably by the time I wake up, price is somewhere here. But if this is a 5-wave structure, the probability is higher. You're going to see an ABC or a 1, 2, 3. So by tomorrow, probabilities would be higher to then move down. And then the question is, how far down? Oh, we'll figure that one out, no? Step by step. Six hours. Good luck, Peter. What's your yeah, answer this one. I know, right? I fully agree with this. Any mistake in trading is your own. However, you can get influenced by other people, especially if you're in a development phase and you don't trust yourself just yet as you are learning. If you start, especially in Elliott Waves, if you start counting and then there's other people and then they have that thought, it's still influencing you. But once you reach a certain level, especially if you once you get to consistently profitability and professional level, yeah, that is when the influence goes down. So at the beginning, if you're new and you're developing, the influence will be a lot higher because your skill level is low. But once your skill level goes up, the influence drops. What's up, Omar? Surprise, surprise. But yeah, you should never blame someone else than yourself. You just have to learn your lesson, like, oops, I should never listen to others. Max, yo, cheers, Max. Welcome to the team as well. Good to have you with us. Nice, nice one. So, so I saw chatting in I saw that Stuba was active in Discord. Pedro and Stuba were chatting. So I was looking at the chat between Pedro and Stuba and what they were talking about. And I saw some of the counts as well. So that's what I like to do. I like to check up with people. I saw Pedro and Stuba talking. So I'm like, okay, what's up? And I also know that Stuba is a good Elliott Wave counter, so I was interested. ABC. So a couple of things going on here, Max. First of all, you're looking for a bigger wave Y, which can be a zigzag in an ABC in green. So that's correct. The problem is that inside wave A, you need a 5-wave structure. So you can't have a 3-wave. If wave A in a zigzag, if wave A is a 3-wave ABC, then your wave B needs to retrace to at least the 0.9 fib of your A, meaning your B has to move up because you're going to be looking for a flat. If wave A is a 3-wave structure, think flats. If wave A is a 5-wave impulse, think zigzag. Secondly, inside wave C, you can only have a 5-wave impulse. So wave C is never a 3-wave structure. ABC is always in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In any scenario, in both a flat and a zigzag, wherever you see wave C, except a triangle, by the way, but in an ABC flat or an ABC zigzag, wave C is always a 5-wave structure. Yeah, I agree, David. I agree. So yeah. How much probability is there for the move down from 72k being a 5-wave move? Yeah, the only way to count, so I would say 20%. You know, if you want to have an exact probability. The problem with counting this as an impulse is you need 1, 2, right? Okay, we can count that. This has to be your 3. Or yeah, there's no other way. 1, 2, 3, and then either 4 finishes here or here, and then 5. The thing is that if I take a fib time from this to this, selecting wave 2, and put it on, let's say I put it here on the, I actually think the impulse ended here, but you know, for whatever, put it on the low. So having wave 4 end here just before the 2 fib time is nice. This is very long, right? We're reaching a 4 fib time. It's not really great for wave 4, especially if we move it few candles to the left. So it's a very long 4 compared to 2, but more importantly, your 5 is extended. It's the longest wave compared to your 3. And that is very rare, that a wave 5 is the extended wave structure. So therefore, the probabilities are not higher for this to be an impulse compared to a 3-wave structure. However, there's always a however. In the bearish scenario, if you move down and you're going to move below the 1-to-1, right, it does increase probabilities for a potential 1-2, 1-2, 3 down. So that is how probabilities change. If we count this here, currently probabilities can't be highest for that to be an impulse because your wave 5 is longer than your wave 3. You have an incredibly long 4 compared to 2. It works. It's, at least it didn't hit the 4 fib time, so it's valid. But the fact your 5 is extended, yeah, it's just rare. So it can't get the highest probabilities compared to this being a 3-wave structure. But if you dump and you go past the 1-to-1, it will increase in probabilities as the 1-to-1 here for diagonal, you know, preferably your wave 3 stays above the 1-to-1. It can be longer, but you don't want to end up all the way here. Then you're just going to be like, okay, 1-to-1, 2, 3. You're going to think of more bearish structures. So yes, then probabilities change. But at the moment, that's not yet the case. Don hitting us with the meme. Yeah. What I also love, by the way, is have you seen Pedro, like, so I'm part of the gaming culture, the meme culture. I love that shit. And Pedro is a diamond member, and I don't know exactly. It was somewhere yesterday. I was talking to Pedro in the chat, and here, look, like that's Pedro himself, but it was yesterday. What was it like? Oh wait, of course I need my own messages to, no, whatever. Yesterday we were chatting in one of the channels, I don't even know, and I out of nowhere I was like, wait, your name is Pedro, and I was like, do you know what's currently trending with your name? And he's like, no. So I sent him the GIF, right? So I wrote this to him, and I gave him a link to the YouTube video as well. And now Pedro put Pedro as his profile picture. So I thought that was pretty funny. Meme culture, you know. So yeah, what a guy. Nice one. If you don't really know like what's going on, just look for Pedro in your shorts or Instagram, and you'll figure it out. It's really funny. Yeah, it is. It is a raccoon. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, all good, Max. You know, it's especially like corrections. Corrections are very complex. So generally, okay, it's 10 past 12, yo. My wife's already in bed for a while. I think I might follow. Yeah. When yeah, Aquafasami, that's the next sheep, yo. I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised. Yeah, I can already you can already see that happening. 1 second. Let's have a look. Pedro coin. Pedro the raccoon price chart. You are kidding me. Of course. Oh, it's not doing very well. Yep, there you go. Meme started 2nd of May. Look at the jump. So it went from 0.04 to 0.17. 300% ish, a bit more increase. If that shit happens in your like first day, look, this is in a few hours, by the way. I mean, you gotta sell, man. And now you're back down, pretty much zero now. Yeah, of course someone makes this. The most popular exchange is Radium. Never heard of it. Pedro Sol. The most active trading pair is Pedro Solana. Kidding me? Trading volume of 137k. Yo, anyone interested in influencing the Pedro market? What now? Oh no. That's a joke, of course, by the way. You never know. There's always going to be people online that are going to be like, yeah, and then later on Twitter, yeah, but Koen said. No, we're having fun here, no? A minus 50 degrees from 50% from 1 day ago. Yo, I gotta go to bed, yo. Yo, nice one. I couldn't have a question for you. While looking at do you also look at other points? I personally don't. So I'm very much focused on Bitcoin, which gives me all the information. I'm pretty dedicated to less is more. So usually Obelix, I focus on Bitcoin itself, and it gives me all I need to know. Yeah. But I do know other counters also in the group that use other charts as well and keep an eye on SPX and US10 or other charts to give them higher or lower probabilities for certain counts on Bitcoin. Probably could cross-analyze that chart with the chart counting Google search popularity for the meme itself. Yeah, won't be surprised. I agree. The more popular the meme becomes, the more people are gonna Google, and then before you know it. Adam, what's up? How you doing, man? Yeah, online, but it is time for me to head out as well. It's 12:15. So, holy moly. So yeah, I'm gonna write an update in Silver as well for everything that I've explained in the live stream, and so that Silver is updated, and then I'm gonna head to bed myself. So sorry for the quality of my webcam at night. It's just a laptop webcam, you know. Should actually buy a proper one. During the day it works perfectly fine, but yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out. Late night live stream with yours truly, and yeah, thanks for being here, spending some time. Have a good night or a good morning, by the way, if you're from Asia. Oh wait, Desek, yeah, okay. How to do Attes? Okay, let me quickly do this, and then that's the final thing. Lol. Wow, how did I forget? Anyway, first of all, Dasek, in Atas or in Discord, you can go to the Good to Know channel, and here are my templates. And then you need to do the following. Okay, 1 second. Let me quickly start up Atas so I can show you. It's starting up, but I'm never sure on what screen it's gonna launch, and I use a different email. So 1 second here, if it actually wants to like start. Oh, there we go. 1 second. Loading. I mean, I gotta say, when price moved down and hit another 618, I already told Silver like, yo, probabilities are higher to continue ranging or move down. But I want to give them a little bit more context. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so here you got your window, no? And you go to charts, templates, right? So just select new if you need to, but here you go, the 2 templates that are in Discord. Right, the chart, BTC USD at Bybit, crypto futures, Bybit futures. Even though I don't trade on Bybit, interestingly, because I use BingX, I started back in the day on Bybit, so that's why I still use the stuff I got used to. Put your chart on the daily time frame, and then this is the daily naked point of control. So what you see here is every gray line is a naked point of control, except for this one, which is the previous day. And it has been hit, as you can see, but it still shows on the chart. Tomorrow, this one won't show anymore. It will be like this one. So we have an untapped point of control at 69650, 71. Right, so yeah, and if I zoom out, there will be more, 73525, and over here 544. And then I go to the daily, weekly, monthly levels, which is actually weekly and monthly. I don't use it for the daily. Same daily chart. And then yellow here, this one is your current weekly point of control, 67900. That's where we are now. Same, this is your current monthly point of control, 67200. And yeah, at the moment there's interestingly no other point of controls here, but if you scroll down, 51800 is the monthly naked point of control, 43k, 40k, and 37.7 is weekly naked point of controls, 37.4 monthly point of control. And if I would increase the time, right, then you will see more and more, but I always update this every week, so I don't need that amount of info. So that's pretty much it. So that's how I find them. So I use Atas, but you can use a lot of other stuff. And in the video on YouTube, so I have a video about this. Go to the channel. There's a video with a beautiful thumbnail, which is this one, how to trade naked point of controls. And in this video, I show a bit more stuff. I do have an updated one in gold, actually, because what you can use instead of going into Atas, and not everyone wants to get external software. So of course, you can use the volume profile and just select 1 day worth of volume, and then you know your point of control. But there's also an indicator called Market Sessions and Volume Profile by Leviathan. And I don't know why it wants to open this. Don't open. Just get it on the chart there. Thank you. And then the red line is the point of control. So, yeah. So over here you can see, and let me open my point of control folder. So there will be slight differences, but you can see the red line is the point of control of the indicator. Blue line is the point of control of Atas. It's pretty close. So yeah, all the red line, not this red line by the way, that's just my folder. But the blue line is value area, high or low, and then the red line is the point of control. So you could also use this here. Keeping it simple. Okay, there you go, Dasik. Ooh, man, I'm so tired. Gonna have a very nice nap. Late night stream, yo, Hiop. Yeah, late night, that's true. It's time for the nest, yo. It's time for bed. What's up, Papa, man? How you doing? How you doing? It is over. Yo. Yeah, I'm making you tired now. Melly Mel, thank you for your kind message. Appreciate it. It is a pleasure. And tomorrow we're back again. Tomorrow we're gonna do it all again. Morning update, somewhere in the morning, of course, because it's already 12:30 pretty much here. It's gonna be a bit later. But then we have the live stream. I will start a bit earlier because I have a meeting with my business coach at 4 p.m. Central European time in Amsterdam, so I gotta go there. And then a normal update in the evening again. Oh, and then it's weekend, yo. Time flies, man. Yeah. Okay. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Appreciate it, and I'm gonna see you again tomorrow.